Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Create with Dee. I'm Dee Slater, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to either my Facebook page, or my YouTube channel. Wherever you're watching this from, thanks for joining in. I have two really cute cards today that we're going to be making using the Potions and Spells bundle by Stampin' Up! It's a fun holiday or Halloween stamp set and bundle, and I have to say that I'm really, what do I say? I'm dialing in on the Hocus Pocus part of it. I don't know about you, but Hocus Pocus is just one of those classic holiday movies that I just tend to watch over and over again. It's kind of like Elf. If you watch Elf every year, it's like every time I see Hocus Pocus come on, I'm like, oh, I just have to either record it or sit down and watch it. It's just one of those fun things. So in the stamp set, there's a sentiment that has Hocus Pocus in it, and I just decided to use both of that as the main image or the main sentiment. As you're coming on, as always, if you'd like to do a quick hello, let me know where you're from. I'm from Indiana. I live here in Indiana in Kendallville. It's a little bit north of Fort Wayne and not too far from the Michigan border. Before we get started making our two cards here today using the Potions and Spells bundle from Stampin' Up!, I have just a little bit of housekeeping. One, I'm so excited to announce that starting in September, I'm going to be doing craft-alongs. What that is it's something that if you live in the US and you want to get the materials to make the class with me ahead of time, then when the class is on, you have the materials to sit down and stamp and make the projects along with me. So here are some of the upcoming classes that I'm going to be offering. These are some of the new things that are in the holiday catalog 2024. Going to be doing a Sweetest Stars bundle of a card class that features that bundle. So super cute. Can't wait to show you that. Again, these are all upcoming. Stampapalooza. Stampapalooza is my premier fall event that I do both locally and online. And the local gals and stampers have been RSVPing for that already. The online ones, I need to wait a little bit just from Stampin' Up! Policies in order to offer everything for that. So if you're on my newsletter, look for that for taking Stampapalooza as a class kit to go. I've got a cute note card case coming up that's perfect for gift giving, and also a sampler. So please do sign up for my newsletter. Information's on the underneath this video here. So if you're not already and that's something you're interested in, and I invite you to do that. Other things real quick, August is wrapping up and it's time to, if you haven't already, you need to really redeem those bonus day coupons. Have just a few more days through the end of the month of August to do that. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get started making these adorable cards using the Potion and Spells bundle. All right, let me turn the camera around. So like I said, I kind of really leaned into the Hocus Pocus aspect of it. And if you watched my last week's video, I was telling about the beauty of getting collections from Stampin' Up! And by collections, I mean they have like the Brights collection, the Neutrals collections, the Subtles collections, the Regal collection. So once again, I'm going to be focusing on using primarily the Brights collection from Stampin' Up! So what I like about the collections is that you can get assorted packs of the cardstock. You can order all of the ink pads all at once, as well as the markers. And they have designer paper that's a collection too. So you get a little sampling of everything, and it really helps spread that budget around because you don't need to buy full packets of things. All right, let's go ahead and we'll get started with our first card. Here's this little cauldron. We have the bubbles going up. We got some shiny things, and then Happy Halloween on the inside. So for this card, I'm using Lemon Lime Twist. Again, this is from the Brights Collection cardstock. And to kind of mix it up a little bit, I have this cut going the other way so that it opens up and down instead of side by side. So to have it go this orientation, 4 1/4 by 11. So that's going to be our card base. Go ahead and put that down. And then we're going to need 2 pieces of basic black. These are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to need 2 pieces of basic white cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And let's see here, I got an extra piece. So let me show you some of the details on the potions and spells. So I'm going to be using these 3 different cauldron bubbles, these little star sparkles that kind of, look like that something's has some movement going up and having that like flash of Hocus Pocus on it. Ahead of time, I have gone ahead and die cut the cauldron out of basic gray. I've got the little bubble over element cut out of lemon line twist, just like the card base. And from the Brights Collection Designer Series paper, got a piece of that designer paper cut at 1, and you would cut it at 1 3 3/4, but I just kind of want to show you a little trick that I do sometimes. And then a piece of basic black that's 1/2 inch by what will end up being the 3 3/4. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and adhere the designer paper and the basic black towards the bottom or on the bottom of one of the layers of basic white. I'm actually going to put it right here on the bottom, the liquid glue first. And sometimes when I cut my paper and then I cut my other elements, I can be off just a little bit for whatever reason. And so this way, if you cut it just a little long and don't put too much adhesive on the back side of it, what you can do is turn this over and cut it exactly. So I'm going to do that first with that. So again, I do not have any glue that's over here. I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to go right along the top of the designer paper and stop at the edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line that up to the left edge just because I'm working left to right. Now when I flip this over, I can use my snips and cut it exactly along the cardstock. That way, if I'm off a little bit of measurement one way or the other, I know that that goes coast to coast the way I want it to. So that's just a little trick. If you say like, oh goodness, my cutting's always off a little bit, now I've got to recut, just cut it a little long and then you can trim it up. So on our little cauldron here, as you can see, the green bubbles thing, it's popping up here, and I've got a nice green blend over on the top. So I'm taking our lemon lime twist ink pad, and I'm using a blending brush. You can use a dauber or whatever that you are comfortable with. And it really even doesn't matter how you blob this because it's our bubbling over cauldron. And I'm going to kind of stay right here in the middle. I'm going to start with a light pressure, and then you can always add a little more pressure. And I'll get a little more ink on that. Again, just kind of do this just to have that kind of look. Kind of show you what that looks like. Okay. Now we'll do some stamping with our Memento ink, the black Memento ink. And what I want to do first is make our little cauldron. Let me go this way. And for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment from the Potions and Spells, a little Hocus Pocus, and that's going to go towards this, like the center, and then drop down just a little bit because we've got to make room for our bubble over potion. Okay, so we have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another blending brush and I'm going to ink around the edges and kind of give this cauldron just a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to pick this up and ink around the edges. And that'll give our cauldron some dimension and depth by just using our blending brush. And now I can take that and I can kind of bring that in just a little bit. And then what that's going to do is going to kind of highlight our sentiment. So using your blending brushes can really just give any little thing a little bit more dimension on it without having a stamp or even to use the blends, your alcohol-based markers, if you don't want to. Okay, so I have that. So I want to position the cauldron where I want it first once I get it all done. Now, if you wanted to, you could use the lemon line twist to outline the same thing on our bubble over. But what I like to do is if you have the next shade darker, I'm happy to use the Granny Apple Green because it's in the Brights collection, but you could use Old Olive or any other of your greens that you would want to. Or if you wanted to, you could stick with that, but sometimes just a little darker green does the trick. And then the same thing here, I'm going to kind of highlight the edges a little bit, a little darker, and then I can bring in that color and kind of get some two tones on it that way. Okay, I kind of like that. It looks like it's just really having a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to get my Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to put some on the back here. And for this, the bubble over part of it, mini dimensionals work great, but I'm just going to show you how you can take your regular dimensions too and use those edge pieces. So if you've got the minis, it makes it a lot easier, but I just wanted to show those that maybe don't have the minis, that you just can cut the edges, cut some of your dimensionals in half, and you'll be right in business. So, and of course you can use, the sticky is edge to edge. So just don't waste any of that. And that's what we're going to do here. Okay, I think that's good. If you wanted to, you could do another small one over on the edge. I think it'll be just fine. Get our dimensional backings off. And now we'll get our cauldron that has a little Hocus Pocus on it. And this just gets lined up right up to the top. And we've got that. So cute. Love it, love it. All right, so what I like to do is before I put this down, like permanently, I kind of stage it. I want it staged about in the middle, as far as the middle on the lower edges here. And I'm going to get the bubble images from the stamp set, and I'm going to use our black ink for that. And I'm just going to, and there's 3 different sizes of bubbles. So I'm just kind of going to get started here and do the first one so I know where my cauldron starts. Now I'm just going to kind of add some of the bubbles. You can do whatever the shapes that you want as far as the sizes. For some reason, I kind of like to do small to large. So I'll get a first few of these down. And then I'm going to bring this back in and see like where else that I might want some bubbles. All right, let's see. I'm going to fill in the blank here a little bit. There's some of the blank spots to really have our spooky little potion going up in the air. You can go up as high as what you want. Just kind of changing up the sizes. One clear up here at the top. And then the stamp set also has these 2 little sparkly, or not sparkly, little star ones. And it kind of reminds me of like if you were eating a, what do I want to say, like those, the candies that pop in your mouth when you eat them. like pop rockets. That's not what they're called, but it's kind of like a little burst of energy. And let's put a couple like that. It can be anywhere. Okay, I think that looks pretty cute. Again, those are all images in the one stamp set. Okay, so now we can start. Oh, and let's go ahead and we're going to do the inside too. Now I'm going to take my lemon lime twist. So just like we did before, you could do this at the same time. And I'm just going to put a little of our green haze here. This will be again for the inside. And I'm going to get our Happy Halloween from the stamp set. Using the Memento black ink. And I'm going to get those little sparkly stars again. And we'll add a few of those to the inside of the card. And you can use the stars and the bubbles to decorate your envelope as well, if you'd like. And I'm just making sure I have the cap on all the time so I don't get all of this on my sweater here, or my top. All right, so now we have all of our components. Let's start to put this together. So we'll put I'm going to use liquid glue on all of this. I purposely did this card to show that, you know, if you just had one of the colors, that you can still make such a cute Halloween card. So any green tone would work. While I'm talking about the brights a lot, like any of your green or even purple, whatever color that you would want to use for your potions would work. Okay, and let's get the inside put in. So I really thought that to pop the lemon lime twist to offset that with a black really just makes that green come to life even more so. So sometimes when I look at my card making and I say, what else does it need? Sometimes just another layer of cardstock can really help pop your project. Okay, so got a couple more steps on this. We'll go ahead and get our dimensionals again. We'll get our cauldron and go ahead and I'll get several of these on here. One in the middle for nice support on it, about 5. And get my take your pick tool to help me get the backing off. Hubby was asking me what my rest of my week was like. And I said, Friday is my maintenance day. And he goes, maintenance day? What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, I get my nails done, my hair trimmed, you know, have a doctor's appointment, nothing major on that, just a routine one. And I said, you know, a maintenance day. All right, too cute, too cute. On my original one, I added a little sparkle to it. I've got rhinestones here and some Wink Stella. I'm still going to use the Wink Stella to make our little sparkle potions kind of come alive here. So I'm going to add some Wink Stella. Wink Stella is just a clear glitter pen. So it just adds a little, or brush I should say. So it just adds a little bit of sparkle where you might want it. So I'm going all the way around the cauldron, the bubble over potion that we're doing. And then I'm going to come in here and sparkle up all of the bubbles, getting ready to pop. I thought I would mix it up a little bit just to kind of do a little compare and contrast. I love these shiny sequences. You guys have seen me, my followers, you've seen me use these time and time again. They just go with everything. And so I thought what I would do is I'm using these on I'll use the green this time from the shiny sequences. And add a little bit of that, and let's add some of our sequins to our bubble over as well. Do that, kind of put some on the drippings. Okay, you can even put those on the inside, which I've been known to do. So this is just a little like the green on green with it, and then here's the little sparkle. So that's our first project. What do you think? Anything on the video here today that you like, please give me a thumbs up, a heart, leave a comment, share the video, anything that you would like. Okay, our second card really talks about, like, I'll just kind of say like the movie, right? You know, so the brooms are colored like the 3 hair colors of the Hocus Pocus witches. That's from the movie. So, you know, they've got the, you know, the Bette Midler, she's got the orange hair. Jessica Parker has that. And the other ladies, the actress's name, let me know what that is. I don't know why I can't think of what her name is right off the top. She kind of has the purple reddish hair. Again, I was staying all with the Brights family collection. The brooms are part of that die set. So cute. So here it says a little Hocus Pocus. This time I used the die cut bubbles to kind of bring the color back out. I've got the swirl embossing folder because, you know, you're hocus pocusing and you're doing this when you're making your spells. And then on the inside, of course, that little boy gets turned into a cat. So then that kind of nods back to the cat. All of that's on the images there. Hi, Janet. All right, let's go ahead and we'll put together this Hocus Pocus card from Potions and Spells. So ahead of time, what I've got pecan pie card base, 8.5 by 5.5. I've got 2 pieces of basic gray. Basic gray is one of those new neutrals that Stampin' Up came out with in the current catalog. So it's not with the collections, it's just a standalone color. And it's kind of nice. It's in between Very Vanilla and Crumb Cake. So it's just another nice neutral. So I decided to use that for our card here today. I'm going to use one for the inside, cut up 4 by 5 1/4. And the other one ahead of time, I've gone ahead and embossed it with the So Swirly embossing folder. We played with this last week as well. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get started on this. Ahead of time, just for, you know, the sake of time, what I did is I took the cauldron. They have a coordinating stamp set with it. This time, like, the cauldron's kind of on its side in a way. On that, you have the little bracket there. And for this one, I used granite gray to do the cauldron. And let me go ahead and we'll get our components out here. Hopefully I don't lose any of the bubbles. I've got the witch's brooms in the color of Berry Burst, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and the broomstick handles are done in our pecan pie. Okay, so those are, oh, and then from the deckled circles, I've got the lemon lion twist out of that, so that it kind of ties back into the same cards. Look, just a little bit. All right, so for this, what I want to do is I'm going to take our blending brush again in the black, and I'll see what I have on it. And again, just kind of pull in that color. I wanted to see if I had enough on my brush, my blending brush, but I don't. So I'm going to get my basic black, or not the basic black, but the Memento Black Tuxedo ink. And again, I'm going to just kind of do the same thing, kind of rub that inward just a little bit. And again, just kind of giving the cauldron what I'm calling some depth to it. Little highlights. And if you wanted to, you can even kind of go over like that. So the stamp already has a shadow on it, so you don't have to do that. I just think it kind of gives it a little aged look, or another what do I want to say, added look to it. All right, to put the brooms together, what I found for me was the easiest way is to use glue dots. So I'm going to get my mini glue dots, and where's my take your pick tool? Here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and take a glue dot off. Whoops, maybe. There we go. And just like that, I do kind of want to swirl it around a little bit. You can make these brooms as long as what you want. I want to kind of shorten them up just a little bit for this, this look here. Let's see. So if you want to, you can turn the broom upside down and put the glue dot and then turn it back around and kind of stage your broom handle. I'm going to just see if that's about the, yep, that's about the length that I want it. So again, you can make these at whatever length you want. And so to me, that was the easiest way of putting the handle on. You could, if you wanted to, use, you know, liquid glue, fine tip glue pen, but really I just thought these glue dots, you can kind of make them a little shorter if you want to. I kind of twirled them. But these all about the same size. They don't have to be, but I'm going to do my best to kind of make them about the same. Not too bad. And one more here that's already turned upside down. And put the glue dot down. Turn it right side up. And line it up. All right, we've got our witches' brooms all ready to go. I just think it's fun to kind of think of Hocus Pocus on that. All right, let's see. We got to do a little stamping. This time, I'm going to just stamp off. My cleaning pad is a little bit off to the side, so I'll just make sure to get all of that off. I'm going to bring in our pecan pie. Get the ink on that, and that's going to be our Hocus Pocus, a little Hocus Pocus. And I'm putting that right in the center of this circle. There we go. Put that off to the side. And for the inside, while we're doing our stamping, just like we did before, we can take our swirl lemon lime twist. You can always tell when you need a little more on that. Go ahead and do that. This kind of ties the lemon lime twist from the front of the card into the inside of it. And this time we'll use the pecan pie again for our Happy Halloween. Okay. And I'm going to just get everything stamped off so I don't have the color showing anymore. And I've got my 3 bubbles. And this time I'm going to pick up the 3 colors of the Witch's Broom in our inks for the inside bubbles. So I'm using Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Berry Burst. And I just kind of make it easy on myself. I use Berry Burst for one of the sizes. I use Pumpkin Pie for another size. And then we'll use our Daffodil Delight for the 3rd size. And then we've got a cute, not so scary kitty cat that's in the stamp set. And again, this is kind of that nod to the little boy that gets Hocus Pocused. And put our little black cat somewhere on here. Okay, that's our stamping. We're ready for assembly. Okay. Go ahead and 8.5 by 5.5 on our card base. And we'll go ahead and put our 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic beige that we've stamped for the inside. It's so cute. Now for the outside, I'm going to go ahead and put down just with glue, with normal the liquid glue. I got to see which side that I want. It's kind of like, you know, there's not really a deboss side, because with the swirl, you get the raised and lowered edges on both sides. So it really doesn't matter too much which side you have. But if you have a preference, you know, make sure that side's up. And we'll center that on our card front. Okay, I'm going to just glue down the little Hocus Pocus circle. Again, I'm going to kind of stage to make sure it's where I want it to be. Okay, so just about there, out in the area about right in there. If you use liquid glue, you've got a little wiggle room if you need it, but for this project, it just needs to kind of be in the general vicinity of where you want it. So if you want to think about the center, it's just a little bit right of center. Okay, let's get some foam dots on our cauldron. Again, probably 5 looks about right. Give it nice and supported. So I love Halloween. I don't have any, we call them littles. I don't have any littles in the house. In fact, our neighborhood hasn't really changed over homeowners for a long time. So we really don't even have, when we first moved there, there was a lot of young kids. Now those young kids are young adults. And so I don't get too many trick-or-treaters anymore, but thank goodness I have some great nieces and nephews that I think will love getting a little Hocus Pocus card. Okay, so before I put the brooms down, I want to put some bubbles down. And so I just die cut from the bubble dies that come in the set. Kind of show you this again. So you get one pass, you can get all of these bubbles, plus there's this bubble and that bubble. So there's tons of bubbles that you can do with one pass. Great way of using up some of our scraps. My hands are going to get a little sticky here probably, but I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue on each one. If you wanted to, you could load all of these up with a mini glue dot. Let's see, I'm going to use my you pick it up with your take your pick tool. I'm going to put one up here. I'm just going to follow what I have there. Oops, that one didn't punch out. You just punch out any of the openings there if you'd like for the bubble. I like how they did the bubbles to have like that little look that if you wanted to, you could back that with some white to really showcase that. Let's see. My bubbles kind of change where I put them each time. And let's see, a little orange, a little. When I did my first one, I put them down for the spacing. It was really, you know, making sure I had them where I want to. I'm kind of hodgepodging this. I wanted to show you, like, here's one pass on that one that has 5. You get kind of a small, medium, and 2, or big, medium, and 2 smalls. And let's see, I'll put this about right in here. And you can just go as crazy as you want with your Hocus Pocus. Okay, so as far as the bubbles. Now for the brooms, I'm getting our mini glue dot out again. And we're going to just cross the broom handles. You wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. I had them standing straight up. Why don't we, on this one, we'll have it, let's see if we want to have them standing straight up. So if you wanted to, you could do something like this. You know, have it all lined up. Nope, I like them crossed. Hi, Peggy. Good afternoon. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. So I'm going to just kind of pick a spot on the handle, about halfway up on the handle, and we'll put a little glue dot on that. And then take your next one that you want to crisscross. I'm going to stack them just a little different. You don't want to go too wide on this because you have to stay in this area of our card. Thank you, Peggy, for sharing. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then going to put our top one right here. And that kind of keeps them all together. Now I'll go ahead and get our dimensionals again. Dimensionals is Stampin' Up's verbiage for a foam dot. They call them Stampin' Dimensionals because they add dimension to our project. And let's see, I want to put it on what's going to be the left side, because we're going to just glue this one onto the cauldron. That way they all pretty much have the same height. So I'm going to put just one here for now. And I'm going to add, and if you wanted to do this all in one step, you could put the liquid glue on the orange or whatever is going to be your one that's going to overlap the cauldron just a little bit. Okay, so let's see here. So see what I mean? That kind of makes it all the same height. Whoops, I'm going to push that down just a little bit. Hocus Pocus. And then I need to go in and sneak another glue dot on the back side of where the broom handles intersect. And you could add more for whatever that you would like as far as the mini glue dots. Too cute. Love it. And the last thing that if you want to, I just thought I wanted to add a little more texture, even though we're going to add some sequins. I thought, oh, let's go ahead and have a little linen thread look to the broom handles. Since, you know, broom are kind of strawy, I thought, oh, that gives it a little texture that gives a little nod to the broom. I'm just going to put it on the center one here. Now we'll go ahead and we'll get out our shiny sequences again. And again, these just kind of have that morphing into whatever color family that you're using. And so while it looks like it could be subtles, this is the Brights collection and they pair perfectly with that. And so I'm going to go ahead and put a little sparkle on the bubbles, and I'm just doing tone on tone. So I've got the kind of the pink tone on the Berry Burst. I've got the yellow tone of the shiny sequences on the yellow, the Daffodil Delight, and then this orange tone put on the Pumpkin Pie. Do whatever sizes that you like. And if you wanted to, you could do some of our Winka Stella, but then there's our little shiny Hocus Pocus. All right, I'll go ahead and put some of this aside and we'll get out our cards here again and turn the camera around. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing what the Potions and Spells stamp set, just a little ideas on what you can do for your Halloween card making that you might do. And I do have some little cauldron boxes that I'm working on. Probably will share that on my blog and on Facebook. So if you want to like stop in sometime over the next couple of weeks on either Facebook or on my createwithd.com and see little boxes and some other things that you can possibly do with the cauldron, like please do. I invite you to do that. But here's our little spooky, almost like monochromatic, but there's 3 colors in it. So if you wanted to, if you just had a color, like you could still make a cute little cauldron. And then here's a nod to the movie. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If there's anything in this video that you like, please do give it a thumbs up, heart, depending on where you're watching from. And if there's somebody like that you think might like it, like Peggy did, and shared it. Thank you so much for that during the live. I would really appreciate it. All right, everybody have a great week and happy crafting. Bye-bye.